you and
Yeah, this is the audience, yeah. I think Paul pulled this one last year for the first time, and I mean, it's
yeah,
good to have, you know.
yeah, no, to cut. Yeah, you want to see reactions, you want to see applause.
Okay.
Wait, let
Test
that
that one.
feedback come from here.
Because I changed something on the microphone. Test one, test, test, test. Okay. Yeah, just keep it lower and we're good. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. All right.
All right, just give me a thumbs up here.
Just lower it if it gets
Okay.
a little bit low. Like you should be okay. Don't lower it now. I think that's perfect the way we have it.
Okay.
But if you have any issues, just lower it.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to St. Francis Prep's 17th Annual Poetry Out Loud competition. We started back in 2009, and in our Poetry Out Loud maiden voyage, it was quite a success. We sent someone to the New York State regionals up in Syracuse, and she made it to the final round. And in the years that we've been doing this, we've sent 4 other students, prep students, to the state regional finals. And with the research I did, Mr. McLaughlin knows this, I think we're the only Catholic high school in New York City that's accomplished 5. So maybe we can make it 6 this year. Let's see. Thank you for Mr. McLaughlin's presence. He's one of Poetry Out Loud's biggest fans. We can always see him sitting here every year. Thank you to my fellow judges, Mr. DeGraff, Ms. Prohaska, and Mr. Castellano. Thank you to Mr. Paul De Benedictis and his SFP TV team for filming it every year so people can watch it at home. Thank you to my fellow English teachers who inspire our students with great poetry and poems. Be careful with, you will still have to project because of the technical difficulties I mentioned before. And we'll see if that keeps happening, the feedback, we may have to turn it down on our end. But the way this works is we have 2 rounds. The first round, you will be reciting your first poem. Then we go right into the second round for your second poem. And then the judges will convene in the library classroom and pick 1 winner and 1 runner-up. These 2 individuals will be representing prep at the New York City Regionals in Manhattan. I believe it's early February. And you will also be receiving, and I made a note of this, I called my plaque guy, the 2 winners from last year did not receive their plaques. So you also get a very handsome plaque for first place and runner-up. If you could all silence your phones at this time, if you haven't done so already. And just for our brave participants, can we have a round of applause for you as well? The reason we're all here. Mr. Castellano is our accuracy judge. He has all the poems in front of him. If you are stuck, look to him, and you can nod or simply say line, and he will give you the next word or 2. Okay? And again, enunciate, feel each line, become the speaker. Don't channel the speaker, become the speaker, the poet himself or herself. And with that, let us get started with Victoria Awadala.
American Smooth by Rita Dove. We were dancing. It must have been a foxtrot or a waltz. Something romantic, but requiring restraint. Rise and fall, precise execution as we moved into the next song without stopping. Two chests heaving above a 7-league stride. Such perfect agony. One learns to smile through. Ecstatic mimicry being the sine qua non of American Smooth. And because I was distracted by the effort of keeping my frame, the leftward lean, head turned just enough to gaze out past your ear, and always smiling, smiling, I didn't notice how still you'd become until we had done it for 2 measures, 4, achieved flight, that swift and serene magnificence before the earth remembered who we were and brought us down.
Thank you, Victoria. Next up, we have Jody Chan.
Can I?
She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express. How pure, how dear thy dwelling place. And on that cheek, and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent.
Thank you, Jody. Gabriela de la Cruz.
And if I did, what then, by George Gascoigne? And if I did, what then, are you aggrieved therefore? The sea hath fish for every man, what would you have more? Thus did my mistress once, amaze my mind with doubt, and popped a question for the nonce to beat my brains about. Whereto I thus replied, each fisherman can wish that all the seas at every tide were his alone to fish. And so did I, in vain, but since it may not be, let such fish there as find the gain, and leave the loss for me. And with such luck and loss, I will content myself, till tides of turning time may toss such fishers on the shelf, and when they sick on sands, that every man may see, then will I laugh and clap my hands as they do now at me.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thaddeus Jones.
About standing in kinship. by Kimberly Blazer. We all have the same little bones in our foot, 26, with funny names like navicular. Together, they build something strong, our foot arch a pyramid, holding us up. The bones don't get cast when they break. We tape them, one phalange to its neighbor for support. Other things, like sorrow, work that way too. Find healing in the leaning, the closeness. Our feet have 1/4 of all the bones in our body. Maybe we should give more honor to feet and to all those tiny but blessed cogs in the world. Communities, the forgotten architecture of friendship.
Honor Mendoza. Reciters, just a reminder, you may have to step back a little bit from the mic and just speak louder.
Acquainted with the Night by Robert Frost. I have been one, acquainted with the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the furthest city light. I have looked down the saddest city lane. I have passed by the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. I have stood still and stopped the sound of feet when far away an interrupted cry came over houses from another street, but not to call me back or say goodbye. And further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been one, acquainted with the night.
Ange Morales.
Siren Song by Margaret Atwood. This is the one song everyone would like to learn. The song that is irresistible. The song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons, even though they see the beach skulls. The song that nobody knows because anyone who has heard it is dead, and the others can't remember. Shall I tell you the secret, and if I do, will you get me out of this bird suit? I don't enjoy it here, squatting on this island, looking picturesque and mythical, these two feathery maniacs. I don't enjoy singing this trio, fatal and valuable. I will tell the secret to you, only to you. Come closer. This song is a cry for help. Help me. Only you can. You are unique at last. Alas, it is a boring song, but it works every time.
Dmitri Olovich.
Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake, to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. These woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Nice to meet you. Amelia Petruska?
On Quitting by Edgar Albert Guest. How much grit do you think you've got? Can you quit a thing that you like a lot? You may talk of pluck. It's an easy word, and wherever you go, it is often heard. But can you tell to a jot or guess just how much courage you now possess? You may stand to trouble and keep your grin, but have you tackled self-discipline? Have you ever issued commands to you to quit the things that you like to do? And then, when tempted and sorely swayed, those rigid orders, have you obeyed? Don't boast of your grit till you've tried it out, nor prate to men of your courage stout. For it's easy enough to retain a grin in the face of a fight there's a chance to win. But the sort of grit that is good to own is the stuff you need when you're all alone. How much grit do you think you've got? Can you turn from joys that you like a lot? Have you ever tested yourself to know how far with yourself your will can go? If you want to know if you have grit, just pick out a joy that you like and quit. It's bully sport and it's open fight. It will keep you busy both day and night. For the toughest kind of a game you'll find is to make your body obey your mind. And you never will know what is meant by grit, unless there's something you've tried to quit.
Thank you, Amelia. Lucas Singh.
Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, 2 vast and shrunken legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, have sunk a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that sculpture well those passions red, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. On the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and spare. Nothing beside remains, round the decay of that colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Thank you, Lucas. And Leo Torella.
Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read which yet survive. Stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Thank you, Leo. And that wraps up round one. And we'll begin round two. Back with Victoria Abadallah.
Grief by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I tell you, hopeless grief is passionless, that only men incredulous of despair, half taught in anguish through the midnight air, beat upward to God's throne in loud access of shrieking and reproach. Full desertness in souls as countries lieth silent bare under the blanching, vertical eye glare of the absolute heavens. Deep-hearted man, express grief for thy dead in silence like to death. Most like a monumental statue set in everlasting watch and moveless woe till itself crumble to the dust beneath. Touch it. The marble eyelids are not wet. If it could weep, it could arise and go.
Thank you, Victoria. Jody Chen.
They buried their son last winter by Sir Hay Jordan, translated by John Hennessy. They buried their son last winter. Strange weather for winter, rain, thunder. They buried him quietly. Everybody's busy. Who did he fight for? I asked. We don't know, they say. He fought for someone, they say, but who? Who knows? Will it change anything? They say. What's the point now? I would have asked him myself, but now there's no need. And he wouldn't reply. He was buried without his head. It's the third year of war. They're repairing the bridges. I know so many things about you, but who'd listen? I know, for example, the song you used to sing. I know your sister. I always had a thing for her. I know what you were afraid of, and why, even. Who you met that winter, what you told him. The sky gleams, full of ashes, every night now. You always played for a neighboring school, but who did you fight for? To come here every year, to weed dry grass, to dig the earth every year, heavy, lifeless, to see the calm after tragedy every year, to insist you didn't shoot at us, at your people. The birds disappear behind waves of rain to ask forgiveness for your sins. But what do I know of your sins? To beg the rain to finally stop. It's easier for birds who know nothing of salvation, the soul.
Thank you, Jody. And Gabriela de la Cruz.
So This is Nebraska by Ted Kooser. The gravel road rides with a slow gallop over the fields. The telephone lines string behind, its billow of dust full of the sparks of red-winged blackbirds. On either side, those dear old ladies, the loosening barns, their little windows dulled by cataracts of hay and cobwebs, high broken tractors under their skirts. So this is Nebraska, Sunday afternoon, July. Driving along with her hand out, squeezing the air, a meadowlark waiting on every post. Behind a shelter belt of cedars, top deep in hollyhocks, pollen and bees, a pickup kicks its fenders off and settles back to read the clouds. You feel like that. You feel like letting your tires go flat, like letting the mice build a nest in your muffler, like being no more than a truck in the weeds, clucking with chickens or sticky with honey, holding a skinny old man in your lap while he watches the road, waiting for someone to wave to. You feel like waving. You feel like stopping the car and dancing around the road. You wave instead and leave your hand out, gliding, lark-like over the houses.
Thank you, Gabriella. And Thaddeus Jones.
The Affliction of Richard by Robert Bridges. Love not too much, but how, when thou hast made me such, and dost thy gifts bestow, how can I love too much? Though I must fear to lose, and drown my joy in care, with all its thorns I choose the path of love and prayer. Though thou, I know not why, didst kill my childish trust, that breach with toil did I repair, because I must, and spite of frighting schemes with which the fiends of hell blaspheme thee in my dreams, so far I have hoped well. But what the heavenly key, what marvel in me wrought shall quite exculpate thee? I have no shadow of thought. What am I that complain? The love from which sprung my question, sad and vain, justifies thee to man.
And Connor Mendoza.
Crossing by Jericho Brown. The water is one thing, and one thing for miles. The water is one thing, making this bridge built over the water another. Walk it early, walk it back when the day goes dim. Everyone rising just to find a way toward rest again. We work, start on one side of the day, like a planet's only sun. Our eyes straight until the flame sinks. The flame sinks. Thank God I'm different. I have figured and counted. I'm not crossing to cross back. I'm set on something vast. It reaches long as the sea. I'm more than a conqueror, bigger than bravery. I don't march. I'm the one who leaps.
Thank you, Connor. And Angie Morales.
Lines written in early spring by William Wordsworth. I heard 1,000 blended notes while in a grove I sat, reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower, the periwinkle trailed its reeds, and 'tis my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure. But the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air. And I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man?
Dimitri Olavics.
The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and sorry, I could not take both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Oh my God, why am I freaking out? Why am I freaking out? As for that, the passing there, about the same. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. I know this word. I know. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Why am I freaking out? And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, but knowing how way leads on to way, and I wondered if I should ever come back. I tell this story with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. I took the road less traveled by, and two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and I took the road less traveled by, and that made all the difference.
Amelia Petruska.
There Are No Kings in America by Eileen Casaneto. We are not that kind of country. We are sanctuary for the hungry, the homeless, the huddled, held together by an idea our immigrant fathers believed in. Rendered, it meant independence. Pursued, it kindled war, ordinance, a fighting chance. 40,000 musket balls by themselves did not shape the boundaries on which we map our days. To draw our borders, we needed more than fire cakes, more than a pound of meat with bone and gristle, or salt fish and a gill of peas. We needed the faith and grit of people who were not yet Americans. To be an American is to recognize the sacrifice of the widow and the orphan. It is to understand the weft of tent cities expecting caravans, and the heft of a child in a camp not meant for children, or sitting before a judge awaiting judgment. What do we say to the native whose lands we now inhabit? What do we say to our immigrant fathers who held certain truths to be self-evident? Do we now still pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, our sacred honor? There are no kings in America. Only gilded men we can topple again and again.
Lucas Singh.
Do not go gentle into that good night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their end know dark is right, because there wears a fork no lightning. They do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last way by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in the green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sudden flight, and learn too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with a blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears. I pray do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
And Leo Zarella.
Acquainted with the Night by Robert Frost. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have gone out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the farthest city light. I have looked down the saddest city lane, and I have passed by the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. I have stood still and stopped the sound of feet when, far away, an interrupted cry comes over houses from another street, but not to call me back or say goodbye. When further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaimed that the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been one acquainted with the night.
So a round of applause for all of our wonderful reciters. It's a solid year. You're not making it easy for us. So we are going to go into the library classroom now. And when we come out, we will start off with presenting the certificates for participation. And then we will tell you the runner-up and our first place winner. Yeah. Okay. So, again, thank you to my three English teacher judges. I appreciate you staying after, but it's easy for us, the four of us, because we first and foremost care about your, not necessarily knowledge of literature, it's really your love of literature. You have to graduate from prep, continuing to read and the love of reading for the rest of your lives. And in this case, you are a rare breed, because poetry, out of the literary genres, could say it's an endangered species, literary endangered species list. But you bring it to life for all of us. Thank you. So, as I said before, you'll all come up to receive your certificates first, as I always say, suitable for framing. Put it in a special place. This is more important than the fridge. And when you come up, please stay up here, okay? Because we're going to get a picture of all of you for the website and Mr. McLaughlin's newsletter. So, in alphabetical order, come on down, Victoria Awadala. You're welcome. Jody Chan. Yeah. Gabriela de la Cruz. Thaddeus Jones. Connor Mendoza. Ange Morales. Dmitry Olevics. Amelia Petruska. Lucas Singh. And Leo Torella. Okay, now is the moment. This happens every couple of years. You know, the longer it takes to deliberate, the more talent we saw here this afternoon. It's harder, right? So every couple of years, few years, we have to pick some honorable mentions, and then we will pick, and then I will tell everyone the runner-up, second place, and first place. Our honorable mentions are Thaddeus Jones and Jody Chan. And so there will be a plaque in here next month, but our runner-up and second place goes to Ange Morales. And first place goes to Victoria Awadala. Oh, yes. Right? And I'm so sorry. Come on. And I'm so sorry. I did. And I'm so sorry. There was a third honorable mention. It just hit me too, because I had three names. I'm sorry. And that the other honorable mention is Amelia Petruska. So, congratulations to our winners. I will let you know that you will be picking a third poem, And over the weekend, you will also have to be putting together a list of a short bio with 3 pieces of information for the MC for the New York City Regional to read as he or she introduces you. And once again, God bless all of you. Like I overheard him say before, your bravery, your courage, your love for poetry. You have poetic hearts and hearts of poetry, and that is a gift and a blessing, and it makes you unique. And we're proud of all of you. Thank you, guys. And what we'll do is we're going to move the podium, and we will have you line up next to the Poetry Out Loud sign. Does that work? Thanks, Mr. Castellano.